Sponsor me. The best drink in the world. If you disagree, you're lying. You're a liar if you don't like Dr. Pepper. It's all a lie. Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome to my reaction to episode 9 of season 2 of Attack on Titan. It's picking up. We've seen the gang. They're heading out. Owen's coming along for the ride. We've seen Yami is awake. Eren's awake. They're hanging out in the trees with Bertold and Reiner. I'm hoping this next episode we get like some answers, because all I've had is questions, and I'm kind of like, do we have anything more? Like, please give me like some answers to some questions. I don't want all the answers now, but I want something, okay? I feel like all my outros have been me being like, but what about this? What about this? Could it be this? Could it be that? You know? Don't think I've had like any proper insight. It's just been kind of like a wild ride of a season, because you get constantly bombarded with all this information and your mind is trying to take it all in. And I'm sure there's probably been foreshadowing and hints in this series that I've just not picked up on, because it's like one bomb drop after the next. It's like Yamir, then it's Reiner and Bertold, and then their big fight, and then they kidnapped him, and Eren getting consumed again for the third time. I can't stop laughing, because it's the third time that it's happened. It's like, for God's sake, again, please find a new way to transport Eren that doesn't involve eating him. That would be great. Why do I have a feeling this isn't going to be the last time we see him eaten either? Because it seems to be like a running thing that keeps happening, which is really funny, but it's also like, again, please stop. We also saw a little bit more about Hannes and his character arc and his character development. And as I said, I have a feeling that they're doing what most stories do, which is they bring him back in, they give us all these emotional moments with him where we're like, yeah, Hannes, what a great guy, look at how much he's improved, and then go kill him, and then we're like, oh my heart, why have you done this to me? Because it's just such a common storytelling tactic that I'm just not buying that they've brought him in for the fun of it. I think we'd be very fortunate to see him make it to season 3. Based on how quick they were to get rid of Mish, whatever you want to call him, I just don't have great feelings about Hannes living to season 3, but I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. I don't know. But I just have a suspicion that the story is like, haha, let's give you an emotional gut punch and it's going to be Hannes dying. And yeah, I'm not going to talk anymore, because I'm locked in. I want to see how this goes. We're so close to the end of season 2. Wondering if I'll finish season 2 today. Probably not. I'm trying not to, but I might finish it tomorrow, because I've got to film Death Note tomorrow. I'll be ending on episode 10, so I'll have 2 more. Oh no. Then it's only 2 more episodes. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it all today. We'll see. I can't watch it all today. It's too many. It's too many episodes. Oh, Hanji didn't go. I was gonna say, I was like, she's too. No, Hanji! Hanji, no!
例の歩けない巨人を捕獲した村。ラガコ村ですか？そいつをこの目で。何バカなこと言ってんですか？
Oh, she's not going with them. She wants to see this Titan that Connie thinks is his mom. She has a hunch? Because Connie thought it was his mom. Oh, this music. Amazing. Mwah, every time. Why are you doing this, though? Why is Yami side-eyeing Eren? He'll grow back.
Eren, 見ろよ。私もこの通りだ。お互い今日は辛い日だな。ユミル、なんで俺の腕がねえんだ。そりゃすまん。 俺がやったんだ。慌ててうなじに噛みついたら、お前の両腕をないがしろにしちまったんだ。そうか。
What's with the marks? Yamiya has the same and Eren has the same. Is it from where they're pulled out or is it just from overuse of their abilities?
エレン、やめろ。
まあ待てよエレン。よく周りを見てみろ。ここはウォールマリア内にある巨大樹の森だ。あれも気候種って言うんだろうか。くつろいでいるように見えるが、目だけはしっかりこっちを見てる。下には細かいのが多い。これも十分脅威だ。あっちにはでかいのもいるぞ。見てるだけで近づいてこない。
Oh, I don't like that. That's something out of
きっと。
a horror film.
そんで奴らだ。せこい奴らめ。二人だけ立体起動装置をつけてやがる。ライナーのはお前がつけてたやつだよ。闇雲に今ここで巨人化しちまうのは得策とは思えない。
そもそも今お前らは巨人になれん。そんな都合のいい代物じゃねえのさ。体力は限られている。今はお前らの体を修復するので手一杯のようだ。バカが、誰がてめえの言葉なんか信用するか。
He knows from experience.
まあ、巨人の力について私も詳しく知ってるわけじゃないからな。あんたたちはこれから私らをどうするつもりなんだ。
Give us some information, Reiner.
俺たちの故郷に来てもらう。
Yeah, but we know
おとな
this.
しくしろって言って従うわけがないことぐらい分かってる。ここで今俺らが殺し合ったって。弱ったところを他の巨人に食われるだけだ。
We know you're
つまり
taking them
巨
to
人
the
が動かなくな
hometown.
る夜まで俺たちはここにいるしか
We
ない
know this. Just give
お
us
前らが俺らを出し
something
抜くにし
else.
ろ。俺らがお
A
前ら
little
を連れ去
nugget
る
of
にしろ。
information,
夜まで待つしかない。
which is what Hanji
鎧の巨
predicted.
人のまま走って故郷に帰らず、こんなところに立ち寄った
Because
理由
he's
は何
tired.
だ。疲れたから休憩してんのか。
お前の想像に任せる。
そもそも夜に
Are
な
they
らなくた
waiting
って
for others?
俺らの体が治りきるのを奴らが待ってるはずがない。俺らが無力なうちに手を打つはずだ。あの後みんなどうなった？調査兵団はまさかこっちに向かってねえよな。そんなことしたらみんな無事じゃ済まないぞ。
つうか、あの城の巨人は夜なのに平気で動いてたぞ。ここの巨人はどうだ。
ここの巨人は夜には動けない。そんなことお前なら分かってるんだろう、ユミル。
What does he mean the Titans here can't move at night? Does he mean the Titans that he knows of can move at night? Which means like the Titans that came with the Beast Titan? How did they get over? Because there was no hole, so they maybe he threw them over the wall? I genuinely don't know. Maybe he just went yeet over the wall. I don't know. It's so weird that like he says the Titans here can't move at night, implying that there are Titans elsewhere that can, and then said that Yamiya would know all about that. Does that mean that Yamiya can't? No, Yamiya can move at night because she was attacking them at night. I don't think the same rules apply to those that shift into Titans.
そういやユミルはなぜ巨人になれる？俺と同じで何も知らないってわけでもなさそうだが。
No, she knows more than
こい
she's
つの
letting
目
on.
的もよくわからない。もともとよくわからないやつではあったが。
She's hiding some secrets.
とにかくだ。情報を集める。まずできるだけこいつらから情報を引き出して、この状況を切り抜ける。
Bertold almost
そのためにも
seems
今は感情を
sad
噛み殺
about
せ。
all this.
体を修
Like
復
he
しろ。
kind of can't look at Eren and Yamiya, almost as if like he's feeling guilty Titan regeneration. Those with the power to become Titans possess an inherent ability to regenerate. Their limbs can be dismembered and their internal organs destroyed, but as long as they survive, their bodies will regenerate back to normal given sufficient time. Okay. So, you know how he says information available for public disclosure? Again, this is just screaming to me that this is like happening after the fact, because this is information that they only are learning about now, but we're being given this information, which means this is taking place after the fact. Maybe years later, or I don't know. It's interesting.
3時の方向に巨人演算を
Oh god. It's the
後方
arms.
で新演弾確認進路は返す右翼のみ一旦中央に合流させてやり過ごす三河さおい三河さ三河さ少し力抜けさっきから先行しがちだぞ陣形が乱れるじゃねえかエレンはおとなしく捕まってるようなやつじゃねえって
Keep your head in the game.
あいつは絶対諦めねえだから俺たちは焦らずその代わり絶対に行くんだよあの時みたいにな
What are they waiting for?
そういや昨日の午前からだったか巨人が湧いてからずっと働き詰めじゃねえかろくに飲まず食わずで何より寝てねえまあ幸い壁は壊されてなかったんだからひとまずは休ませてもらいてえもんだ昇格の話はその後でいい
Promoted.
いやそんくらいの働きはしたと思うぜ俺たちはあのわけのわからねえ状況下でよく動けたもんだよ兵士としてそれなりの評価と待遇があってもいいと思うんだがなお前らあの大砲どっから持ってきたんだよあの時は本当に助かったぜそんでもってその後のクリスタなんだがありゃどう見ても俺に気があるよな
Is he losing it?
実はクリスタはいつも俺に対して特別な
Or is he just talking about what's happened in the past? Or is he like sleep deprived?
何起こってんだよエレン俺が
He's talking to him as if they're still friends.
何か知ってんならいい加減黙ってないでなんとかしてやれよ
Bertold seems really out of it, like he regrets the whole thing.
ライナー君は兵士じゃないだろう僕らは戦士なんだから
He's becoming too human, isn't he?
ライナ何をおいなんでマルコが食われてる
They were there when Marco died. They were there when Marco died. And they didn't do anything. That's why Annie apologized to him. What? Let me go back. Was that Marco being held down by Reiner? That's why Annie was so traumatized. Not traumatized, but she was... It was the first time that we really saw any emotion from Annie was when she was talking to Marco's dead body. And I suspected 2 episodes ago that it was potentially because she saw it happen. Why is Marco getting eaten? Why is Marco getting eaten? Reiner doesn't seem to understand, but it sounds almost... They were pinning somebody down, and I'm wondering if it was Marco they were pinning down, and then maybe Marco saw something that he shouldn't have seen. But then Marco gets eaten? Maybe they made it so that Marco was silenced, but they weren't the ones to do it. But it's so interesting to see the psychological stress that Reiner's going through. He keeps referring to himself as a soldier. He keeps talking about his relation to the other comrades. He keeps remembering these moments with them. And Bertolt's kind of like, but you're not a soldier, you're a warrior, which is a different title. That warrior's come up a few times. Annie's mentioned it, Reiner's mentioned it a few times. Bertolt's also mentioned it a few times. So what I'm presuming is they are warriors for another race of people against humanity. And they don't refer to themselves as soldiers, they refer to themselves as warriors. With the term warriors, again, it is almost like a connotation of something older, which is making me again think that they were here before humans and that they're waging war on humans because they were here first and maybe pushed out or mistreated. It seems to be the hill I'm dying on right now, but who is eating Marco? It could just be another Titan eating him, but the dark hair. Eren? Did Eren eat Marco? No, because we saw Eren. There's no way Eren could have ate Marco because we saw Eren. He was under watch the whole time. So it must be just maybe another Titan that ate him, but they witnessed it and were maybe involved in his death. Maybe that his death is a result of their actions. Maybe he saw something he shouldn't have seen and it was their way of silencing him. Oh, Marco. But why is Marco getting eaten? It's such a weird phrase. Why is? Because Titans eat people. That's not unusual. You have to remember they are children at the end of the day. Like the psychological strain this has had on them.
分かった気がするぞ。おかしいと思ったよ。壁を破壊した奴が命がけでコニーを助けたりなんてな。
Who's going to care for
自
them?
分が矛盾したことやってんのに無自覚だったんだよ。なんでそんなことになったのか知らんが、おそらく本来は壁の破壊を目的とする戦士だったが、兵士を演じて生活するうちにどちらが本来の自分かわからなくなった。
Oh, Reiner.
もしくは罪の意識に耐えられず、心の均衡を保つために無意識に自分は壁を守る兵士の一人だと逃避し、そう思い込むようになったんだ。すげえな。お前の実直すぎる性格じゃそうなってる。
黙れ。口を閉じろ。
Oh, Reiner. It just goes to show that, like, deep down, he does care for these people. But it also makes sense, Bertolt's subtle reminder to him at the beginning of season 2 that you're not a soldier, you're a warrior. Oh, he was a warrior first.
あの日どういうつもりで俺たちの話を聞いてたんだ。なあベルトルト、お前だよ腰巾着野郎。俺は話したよな、お前らの目の前で俺の母さんが食われた時の話を。やめろー。どう思った？あの時どう思ったんだ？
あの時は気の毒だと思ったよ。
He thought he felt sorry for him. Has he changed his mind? Or is he saying that, like, he no longer feels sorry for him, or he got confused?
兵士でも戦士でもねえよ。ただの人殺しだ。
They're just
何の
kids.
罪もない人たちを大勢殺した大量殺人鬼だ。
んなことを分かってんだよ。お前にわざわざ教えてもらわなくてもな。
じゃあ一丁前に人らしく悩んだりしてんじゃねえよ。この世界を地獄に変えたのはお前らなんだぞ。分かってん
He's
の
gonna
か？
come out that that's not the
人
case.
殺しに何を求めてんだよお前は。反省してほしいのか、謝ってほしいのか、それでお前は満足かよ。もうお前が知る俺らはいねえんだぞ。泣きわめいて気が済むならそのままわめき続けてろ。
The people you thought we were no longer exist. That's not true though, Reiner, because you're kind of showing the opposite. You do care what he thinks of you. You care what the others think of you too.
俺は頑張るしかねえ。頑張ってお前らが できるだけ苦しんで死ぬように努力するよ。
頼むぜエレン。そんなガキみてえなこと言ってるようじゃ期待できねえよ。
ああ、
You're one of them now.
なあライナー、あの猿は何だ？
Does he know?
猿何のことだ？
知らなかったのか？その割にはあの時のお前ら二人してガキみてえに目を輝かせて見てたよな。
Does it come from the same hometown?
その猿って獣の巨人が今回の騒ぎの元凶だよ。壁の
God,
中
I
に
hate
巨人を
that small
発生させ
titan.
たんだ。目的は威力偵察ってところかな。
I'm within the wall.
そいつを目指せばお前らの故郷に帰れるんだろ。
お前知ってんのかよ。何を知ってる？知ってること全部話せ。
エレン、あの二人をやっつけて終わりだと思ってんのならそりゃ大きな勘違いだ。
はあ、敵は何だ？
The Beast Titan.
そりゃ言っちまえば
ユミル、お
Humanity.
前はこの世界に先があると思うのか？
Humanity is the enemy.
そこまで分かってんだら身の振り方考えろ。
That's what she was gonna
お前次第ではこっ
say.
ち側に来ることも考えられるだろう。お前の目的はクリスタを守ることだろう。それだけに関して言えば信頼し合えるはずだ。クリスタだけは何とかしたいという思いを俺たちが受け入れられないと思うか？それとも俺たちよりもエレンの力の方が頼りになるのか？
We want what's best for Krista. So they know of Krista, probably her connection to the noble family, because it was also something that Yamiya recognized and related to. And then there was also the mention that she felt indebted to her family in episode 2. So, like, does Krista's or Historia's family have significance to whatever Reiner and Bertold is? So they know who the Beast Titan is, which means they're all from the same town or they're from the same area. And he had Titans within the walls. So does that mean those that were already living within the walls that had the ability to shift were shifted under the command? Were they in on it? Was there... But were they in on it? Were they collaborating because their greater goal was to end humanity's rule? When Eren was like, who's the real enemy? That Yamiya was going to be like, humanity, humans. It seems to be kind of hinting at that there's something larger at play here than just humans good, Titan shifters bad.
俺らについてもお前の身の安全は保証されない。だがクリスタ一人くらいなら俺たちで何とかできるかもしれない。自分のわずかな命かクリスタの未来か選ぶのはお前だ。
Krista's future. They have plans for Krista.
先がないって。なんだ？猿ってなんだ？どういうことだ？おい、言えよ！敵の正体は！ユミル！
さあな。
決まりだ。残念だったなエレン。
They're on their way.
調査兵団がも
チキショー。くそ、ユミルのやつここへ来て。あと1時間もすれば日没だ。
Stop it! Keeps ending on fucking cliffhangers. You should know, he says you should know all about it, Yamiya, which means she's had more experience with the Titans and whatever Reiner and Bertold are than she's letting on. Is she older than she appears to be? There's also the mention of Krista's future, aka Historia's future. So they have intentions for Historia. They have a goal with Historia in mind. Is that to establish Historia as a ruler instead of who is currently ruling? Is Historia connected to their hometown? Is her family connected to their hometown? Was that the ruling family that was decimated, and she's in hiding, and their intention is to put her as the rightful ruler. So many questions, so many questions, so many questions, no answers. Because he's using Yamia's relation to Krista and loyalty to Krista as a way to get her to side with him. Very interesting, very confusing. The psychological demonstration of what's going on with Reiner mentally is so heartbreaking to see, because it's like he's had to split himself in two. His love and care for the people around him, aka humans who he has most likely been brought up to hate and want to end. I likely think Reiner's psychological strain probably comes from what we call socialization. So socialization is how children are influenced by their environment and by what is perceived as the norm as they grow up. So if you are raised in a community where you are taught to hate somebody and you are taught to want to eradicate and end their existence because of historical context, because they've enacted hurt upon your community, or they have attacked your community or targeted your community, children raised in that environment will mimic that behavior, and that will then proliferate into a cycle. So you see it a lot in conflicts. You see it in Northern Ireland between nationalist and loyalist communities. You see it in the Palestine-Israel conflict. It's not an uncommon phenomenon. So sometimes in conflict cultures, socialization can lead to ethno-nationalist conflict between two different communities that believe themselves to have more authority than the other, and they come into conflict because of one community attempting to eradicate the other because they believe themselves to be the one in charge. They believe themselves to be superior. They have more right to exist than the other. And then the other community fights back because they're attempting to establish themselves. They're attempting to cling to their heritage, to their homeland. They're attempting to fight back against oppression and colonization. And I have a feeling that this is potentially what is happening here, is that humans have maybe colonized and oppressed Reiner and Bertold's people. Potentially, Reiner, Bertold, and Annie have been brought up to hate humanity, that they have been informed of the horrible atrocities that humanity have committed against them. They've been brought up to want the end of humanity. And in doing so, they've become socialized into that way of thinking, that they didn't think twice about joining to destroy humanity, because that's all they've known. That's been their goal. They want to enact revenge for how their people have been treated. If it's following what I think it's following, which is to do with Titans were here before and humanity has potentially committed a genocide against them, because then Eren says, who is the enemy? They all kind of hesitated, and I think they all kind of wanted to be like, humanity. That was kind of what I was thinking was going to happen, was that they were going to drop that bombshell and then cliffhanger it. My current theory is that they were here first. They were the ruling class. They were the ones that were in charge. And then humanity rose up and cast them out and attacked and targeted them and attempted to overthrow them, or did overthrow them, which has resulted in maybe Krista's family losing power, and that power has been shifted to somebody else who is currently ruling. And people like Yamia have been mistreated because they are not normal, because they are a reminder of what came before, of the ruling class that came before, that humanity has attempted to eradicate something they see as dangerous and that they don't understand and is seen as not normal. And now what we have is perhaps a group of people who are attempting to fight back against this mistreatment, and in doing so have raised their children to feel this resentment and this anger towards humanity. And that's how you end up with Reiner, Bertold, and Annie going on this mission as children, not fully understanding the consequences of what will happen in doing so. They don't fully understand or recognize it. And this is also why you're seeing that conflict with Reiner, that psychological conflict, because if you have been brought up your whole life being told to hate humanity, that they're evil, that they don't care about us, that the only good humans are dead human, to then come into interaction with humans that genuinely care about him, that have gone above and beyond for him, that he's grown to care for himself, that's going to create a shift in his mind, which has caused him to almost disassociate with what his actual mission was, because he can't continue his mission if he doesn't disassociate between the Reiner that is a soldier and the Reiner that is a warrior. And the warrior is what he's here to do, and the soldier is who he's grown to be through his interaction with humanity and his interaction with humans. And we're seeing that psychological strain where he can't compartmentalize it anymore. He can't disassociate the Reiner that's a soldier and the Reiner that's a warrior, because they are, in a sense, the same person. He has grown to care for humans. He has grown to care for the humans he's interacted with and the humanity that he's interacted with. And this is at odds with what his initial aim is. And that's why we're seeing him kind of have that breakdown, because everything he thought he knew is now thrown into question, and his brain's not able to kind of focus on it. And 3 years is a long time as well. That's a lot of pressure, you know, on a child, having to keep that secret for 3 years. He said in episode 6, we were just kids, we didn't know anything. And now we have them older, but still kids. And it looks as if Bertold has potentially been struggling with that as well. Bertold almost looks guilty, almost looks as if this isn't what they had planned, and now they kind of don't know what to do because it's kind of rash. They've kind of not really thought ahead, and I don't know, Bertold just kind of looks almost like he can't believe that this has happened, and that Eren is looking at him that way. I don't know. And then about Marco's death as well. So there was more to Marco's death than what we initially realized. They witnessed it. And that's had an impact on Annie, because Annie was crying in that scene. But we also saw that Annie, when she was talking over Marco's body, she said, you know, she was incessantly apologizing, and Reiner was like, now's not the time to mourn. And he was quite stoic. But in that scene, we can see that he was very like, why is he being eaten? Almost as if he doesn't quite understand. Maybe they're not used to Titans doing that, and it's come as a shock to see a Titan actually eat somebody. I'm not sure. It's just a weird choice of phrasing. There's a lot happening, and I have a lot of suspicions, but I'm not 100% sure where I think things are going. I think it's warring kingdoms. They know who the Beast Titan is. The Beast Titan could be the ruler of wherever they're going to. I think they've been brought up to hate humanity, and we're now seeing the psychological strain between, I've been brought up to hate humans, but I actually now care about humans, and maybe humans aren't as bad as we thought they were. Maybe they're beginning to see another side to humanity that they were never told about. Maybe that's at odds with everything they knew. Maybe humanity is not as evil as they thought it to be. But it's obvious now that the Beast Titan and where they're coming from is waging war on humanity. But still, the reason is why. And Krista is a point of contention because they're talking about her future. So there's clearly goals in place for Krista's future. In their hometown, I muted my mic midway through one of my rants, and I'm really annoyed because I forgot what I was saying. I don't think it's going to be clear-cut that one is bad and one is good. I think it's going to be very on theme with what we've seen of the show so far, which is it really plays into this morally grey aspect, this utilitarianism. Essentially, what I think is that we're going to see why Bertold, Reiner, and Annie have attacked humanity, and we're going to understand it, and we're going to sympathize with them to the point that we maybe go, okay, I would do the same. But at the same time, I think we're going to see that humanity isn't as evil as they've necessarily been portrayed to the Titan shifters, or maybe they are, but I have a feeling that we're going to see them be two sides of almost the same coin, that maybe humanity has done horrible things, but also they've done horrible things in retaliation, and then what we've ended up with is a conflict where children are being involved in it for no reason other than the hatred of those older than themselves. But long story short, that Titans came before, that they were ruled by the Reese family, which is Historia's family. They were usurped by humans. Krista was forced into hiding by the Wallace because she would be loved more than whoever was currently selected. So she was forced into hiding or she would have been killed. So basically she had no choice. Yami is connected to the Reese family somehow. She has love and admiration for them. Reiner and Bertold have mentioned that there is a future for Krista, aka Historia, meaning there is, again, another connection with their people in relation to Historia and the Reese family. So I'm thinking Historia's family were the ruling class. Historia's dad dies. Historia's a illegitimate child. She is forced out. She's not able to take control. But then whoever has taken control targets Titan shifters and they start trying to kill them and mistreating them, maybe putting laws in place that discriminate against them, maybe even going as far as to commit a genocide against them. They get pushed out. They establish their own foothold away from the walls. They then raise their children to hate humanity, to seek revenge against humanity. And then you end up with Reiner, Bertold, and Annie not knowing any differently. They're still children, and they begin their fight against humanity without fully understanding why they're doing it, hence why you have this emotional conflict that they go through, especially in relation to Marco. And then you have Reiner, who's disassociating. He's having to compartmentalize his goal versus his feelings, and he's struggling. So then we have them fighting against humanity, or attempting to fight against humanity. Then we have the Beast Titan, who I think he has maybe raised a community of people to target and attack humanity because of his hatred. Maybe he was mistreated by humanity and therefore he is forcing everybody else to enact his revenge. But again, I think humanity has done something to Titan hybrids because of the language that Annie used. That she just wanted to be normal. She wanted to be treated as normal. That's all she's ever wanted. Yami has said the same, meaning they have been mistreated because of their abilities, because of what they can do. So what that indicates is that humanity has no love for people like this. They hate people who have these abilities, meaning there is a lingering resentment and prejudice, which is why I think they've been raised to hate humanity and that they're attacking and targeting humanity. But they have a larger goal in place of putting Historia in charge because of Historia's family or who her father was. But I think whoever the current ruler is was maybe an heir, but not related to Historia. Could be like a cousin, could be... I'm not sure what the relation is. It could be that somebody usurped them, but I think Historia's dad has to be a king, because there's no way that a noble has that much power that you would fear an illegitimate child without them being like in a position of control. I'm not 100% sure, but essentially there has to be a reason why we are humanized to Bertold, Reiner, and Annie and Yami. There is something more going on to this, and I think it's going to show us that humanity is not the heroes that we thought them to be. But then again, I think it's also going to show us that the Titan Shifters are also not the heroes that they believe themselves to be. I think it's going to be almost like two sides of the same coin. They're both doing and committing horrible atrocities against the other. But maybe humanity's is worse because, again, we need to sympathize and empathize with Reiner, Bertold, and Annie. That was long. I'm sorry. I have a lot of thoughts rambling in my head because of this episode. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye.